there's so much more to life than the dollar amount you make, than the checks you receive. Like, and you have to be willing to step back and really analyze that stuff for real. So the moments where you're trying so hard, you're feeling yourself tiring out and going crazy because you haven't gotten what you think you should have by now. I want you to take a second, take a step back. I want you to get into a place where you're able to list out all the things you're surrounded by in abundance. There's a lot of power in sitting down and thinking through things. I want you to get into a place where you're able to list out what you are surrounded by in abundance, because this impatience, a lot of, and I'm speaking to myself just as much as I may be to y'all, this impatience that we have and we experience, man, causes us to make some really bad decisions, rush decisions. And it's not something that we should be willing to rest in. And it's coming from a place of where we're locking in so much on what we don't have and what we don't have yet. Oh, I don't got the 200K like Andrew Tate, or I don't got this contract like this dude, and he's a high value man and he got a suit. I don't even got dress shoes. So like, what do we do, right? This high value man got this watch, this high value man got this suit and looking good and all that. Bro, get into a place where you can step outside of this comparison game that you're running and get into an area where you're like, bro, okay, but what do I have? I'm so sick of telling myself and thinking about what I don't have and what I'm without. That's why my mind is going crazy all the time. Let me peel back. What do I have? Well, I got life. I got another day, which means I still have purpose filled in my lungs, which means I have, you got a roof over my head, food on the table, clothes on my back. I got ability to think and comprehend. I have skills that I can multiply and grow in. I have all these things that are surrounding me. I got too much of abundance to be focusing on things of lack that are rooted or that are causing impatience for me to rush into places, man. Got too much.
The highest value man I know is Jesus.
I heard that.
The highest value man that ever lived was Jesus, from character to integrity to knowing purpose. Go ahead.
His work. He did his work in 3 years, y'all.
Wait a minute.
He did his work in 3 years. He was out of there. 3 years.
I'm telling you, man, I appreciate them other boys. I do. And there's an audience for them. And I'm not going to say that they're completely wrong, but I don't think that that's the end of the story. I really don't. I think that they touch on some things that I think are okay. And they're not all wrong, but I don't think they have the complete story, man. It's an incomplete aspect, because again, if it doesn't involve how God has designed us, then it's how man has designed us. It's temporal and it's not eternal. And God is an eternal being. So he's constantly thinking about those things in our lives, constantly. So that's what makes it different for me. But anyway.
Have y'all ever, and I know you've talked about this before, PD, and other streams, man, but have you ever looked at or caught somebody or a couple that just didn't look right together? It was like, how did you get that? Because I know that brother, he wasn't doing a whole lot. So how did you get that? I got to tell y'all, man, because we got a lot of young men in here too. Women, the right woman, please hear me when I say this, the right woman, not to say that she doesn't care about financial security and positioning.
Of course she does. The right one will care about that.
You're right. But there's more that she cares about.
Absolutely.
Than that. So your value to her is never going to be dependent on the amount of money you bring into your bank account that then again gives her permission to say, oh, I'll stay. There are women, man, that want to build. There are women that want to play a role in the equity and in the real estate that's built in your life.
Yes.
Watch this, because you have a vision and direction. That is a whole lot more richer than the current state and situation you might be in, where you may not have as much as the next person. Because if you have a vision and a dream, a direction, you have an understanding of where you're going, she is going to be willing, of course, depending on other things in your life, right? Do you have the capacity to pour into her, lead her? Where are you spiritually with God? All those things are so much more value and go so much further than the current money that you make or don't make. So if somebody that you encountered is like, yo, I don't really want this because you're not making enough money for me, this, that, and the third. One, we know that she wasn't the right one off rip, if that was all it took. But then two, that doesn't mean that you are now incapable of having a relationship, encountering people who will value you for who you are and what you bring, right where you are. Of course, this isn't to encourage to remain in poor financial situations, but the right woman will make you want to get that together. And she has the capacity to support you as you make decisions, as you take certain directions, and as you invest your money and build your money in the right places. I'm tired. I'm growing tired at the more and more that I'm seeing these relationship content stuff. All these guys who are again screaming from the top of their lungs are talking about a specific type of girl.
That's right.
That
That's right.
isn't, and it's not all women. It's such a disservice to the women that actually are not to be represented by that group because they have their identity and value in the right places. They have their principles and standards under and in God. And so it just does such a disservice. But we're giving our ear to these guys again, like I said before, because they're hurt somewhere and it's something that hasn't been dealt with. So they're speaking from open wounds. I'm telling y'all, bro, that is a specific type of girl, and you will know her from a distance. It's not like you got to get up close to see that. You will see her from a distance. Anytime some dude walk up to her and all he got to do is, and she gone, bro, what? That's all, man. Come on, bro. No shot. We moving by Riz in 2023 and calling that game. So like, don't even mess with that. And that's not to devalue her. She just ain't really in a place where she's willing to dive into understanding where her value really is and to be able to maximize that to be the woman she's called to be, assigned to be, and then therefore move about her life accordingly. It's just one of those things, man. So don't be so fast to give your ear to these guys, man, because they generalize so much, but they're talking about one specific girl. And I promise you, if they were moving according to the ways and will of God, I'm gonna just be that guy. If they were moving according to the ways and will of God and his word and principle, not only would they have seen her far away, but they would have stayed away and would have remained patient, waiting for the right woman to come along in their life. I'm not trying to tell you that every Christian woman is going to do you right, because not everybody who claims to be Christian is actually moving by Christian principles and values. So we got to watch their fruit. I'm just telling you, though, statistically, the most satisfied marriages are those who are practicing Christians. Legitimate. That is the statistic that so many people leave out. And we're gonna come back to all that. That's gonna be another conversation we'll have. Your value, man, is worth so much more than the dollar signs, the bills, what you bring in, your bank account size, your pocket size, what you got around your neck.
But your work is meaningful.
Yes.
Because you are the representation, you are the ambassador of God when you are at work. That's what we are. That's why work is meaningful.
Just wanted to pop in here and let you know as well that even though there can be a lot of women who can be rizzed up and all those kinds of things in that way, men can too. Men move in identical fashions as well. So if you're male, female, regardless, be aware and know that your value is worth more than the material things, more than position and status, but you have immense intrinsic value in you, purpose and design about you. Knowing such, being connected to the ultimate creator and God himself, who gives us the blueprint on how to navigate relationships we need and the relationships to prepare for, to walk in the calling and assignment we have for our lives. So I appreciate you oh so much for tuning in, and until our next conversation, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Peace.